And yet another day has arrived here on the NCW Life channel. It is Wednesday, the 14th day of November 2018. I am Dan Kuntz, your host. Wake up, Wenatchee Valley. Thanks for starting your day with us here on the NCW Life channel. We got a lot going on today. Got a lot of news to get to, a lot of sports to get to. We got all the stuff that you're used to that you tune in for, I hope. Anyway, we're renewing our FCC license now on a daily basis, so wish us luck with that. My guest in the second half of the program, tomorrow is opening night for the Wenatchee Choral Department, Wenatchee High School Choral Department's production of How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. They came in yesterday afternoon. I talked to 3 cast members and the director, Paul Atwood, so stay close for that to see some of the local talented thespians take to the stage at the Wenatchee High School Auditorium again. Opening night is tomorrow night, and then they'll do it again next weekend as well. That conversation coming up in the second half of the program. We have a very interesting weather forecast. Looks like we're finally going to break out of this cold, cloudy, funky kind of weather. Yesterday's high was only 34. Before that, the day before, it was 32 and 31. It was like, what's going on here? Well, we're going to warm up a little bit, but we could still be in for a little bit of some dicey weather between now and about 9 o'clock this morning. Forecast details are coming up now. The sunrise is still about 4 or 5 minutes away, but I think we have some pretty spectacular footage, I hope. It was a little while ago from our high-definition cameras, courtesy of Localtel Sky-Fi high-speed wireless network. The one that you see there, of course, is on the roof of the Cascadian. Our cross camera, and it happens this time of the year, is completely fogged over. You can't see anything. Well, you can see the fog, and that's about it. Let's see what we have in store for us. Kat, our producer, makes these decisions, as she says, hello, downtown Wenatchee. That gives you a pretty good idea of what we're dealing with. Not quite as bad as it has been for the last couple of days, but it's still pretty foggy. We have a weak weather system that's coming in right now, which is bringing some mixed precipitation off and on to different places of the north central Washington. We'll get to those details in just a couple of minutes. So that is downtown Wenatchee from the roof of the Cascadian. And from here on out, I don't know what we're going to get because these cameras are up high. Now, is that the Badger Mountain camera, Kat? You should have seen this camera about 15 minutes ago. It was spectacular. Our camera high atop Badger Mountain pointed directly to the south, and the clouds were like rolling right over the top of the ridge of Badger Mountain and shuffling down to the East Wenatchee Bench. It was incredible footage. We taped it, we time-lapsed it, so maybe later on today we'll have a chance to show that to you again. It was really neat. But now, well, it's that. That's all we got for you there. That is the Apple Andes camera, looking down over beautiful Cashmere. We call it the Apple Andes camera. It's basically on that ridge right above Apple Andes Mall there in Cashmere with the Wenatchee River. You can see the highway and the bridges and everything going into beautiful Cashmere. Good looking view there. It's about the only, again, we're kind of limited with what we can see when the cameras by definition are high up on ridges and hilltops, and that is where the fog and the clouds are right now. And that is, I want to say, either Upper Butte or Lower Butte, probably Lower Butte. Yeah, that's Lower Butte up in beautiful Lake Chelan. You can see Three Fingers, you can see the Sunset Marina, you can see Chelan proper. Oh, by the way, the Wooden Avenue Bridge project, they have shut it down for the winter. They'll pick it up again in the spring as they continue to make those improvements on the Wooden Avenue Bridge, the historic Wooden Avenue Bridge in Chelan. So there's a good view of Chelan. From the Lower Butte, my guess is the Upper Butte camera is probably nothing. Probably can't see nothing at all. So there you go. That's our cameras around the valley as we get going here on a Wednesday. Let's take a look at that forecast from the National Weather Service. Kind of a mixed bag, a little bit of everything there. We could still see some sleet. It's not out of the realm of possibility yet, as this weak weather system, which is bringing rain to the Puget Sound area and some light snow up in the mountains, could bring us still some sleet. In fact, let's take a look at a slide that was provided to us from the National Weather Service. Look at where you live, and that's what you're going to be dealing with until about 9:30 this morning. So we're in that rain shadow, so to speak, the leeway of the Cascades, which usually makes us pretty dry. But you get up there, say in the Medhow Valley, up near Winthrop, as you can see, Republic, you can see a rain, snow, sleet mix. If you're heading on I-90, especially between Ritzville and Spokane this morning, you're going to be dealing with some poor visibility and perhaps some slippery roads. That's this morning's weather. Let's jump ahead 24 hours to Thursday morning. That's what we're looking at. We catch a little bit of a break on Thursday. Partly sunny skies for the valley. We're finally going to warm up to about 51 degrees. Haven't seen that since last weekend, which is well above normal after being well below normal. It's kind of a weather roller coaster, if you will. That's Thursday morning's weather situation. Let's jump ahead 48 hours to Friday morning. And that's when we start dealing with maybe another chance of some showers, especially in the morning. This is in the morning we're talking about. In the afternoon, we'll have some sun breaks on Friday. And then finally, we'll take a look at the weekend because we can. So cooler temperatures as a front's going to come down from Canada and pay us a visit. And that means we're going to return to the fog in the overnight and morning hours. And we could see an air stagnation advisory issued because when this cold front comes down from Canada, it's not going to really scour out the skies. And that means if we have our wood-burning stoves up and running and things like that, it could hit the lid and come right back down to the valley floor. So again, slight chance of some freezing rain, maybe even some sleet until about 9 o'clock this morning. And once we dodge that bullet, we'll be okay. In fact, we'll warm up to 45, and that would be downright pleasant. In fact, that's just about normal for this time of the year. Cloudy tonight, 35 for the overnight low. Partly sunny Thursday, mixed bag on Friday and Saturday. Today, right now, until about 9:30 this morning is the best chance that we have for some sleet or some freezing rain. It looks like we're going to dodge that bullet. Let's take a look at your mountain passes on this Wednesday morning. No problems at all. No advisories, no restrictions across the board. I-90 roadway is bare and dry. Stevens Pass looks just fine. Roadway is bare and dry, some frost and ice in places. You will run into those patches of fog. You're used to that. You'll run through about 500 feet of fog and then boom, you're cleared out. So there is some visibility issues in the mountain passes. But as far as precipitation, nothing really. In fact, if anything, they're going to get some rain today and some breezy conditions for the mountain passes. Light rain, high of about 38, a little windy at times. We're not looking at a lot of rain. A rain-snow mix possible, but nothing more than half an inch tonight. Thursday, same deal, especially in the morning, a rain-snow mix possible. It won't last very long. Highs will be well above freezing, and the overnight lows will be well above freezing for that matter, right on into Thursday night. And then if you have weekend travel plans as we get closer and closer to Thanksgiving weekend, the weekend forecast for the mountain passes looks just fine as well. So some light rain forecast for the mountain passes, a rain-snow mix tonight, and a little windy at times, but all in all, it doesn't look like you're going to have too much trouble heading over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house. You go. It is 7 minutes after the hour. We're going to take a break. When we come back, your Wednesday morning news. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, live this morning from Studio 8 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life channel.
I came here to CVCH because one of my friends referred me. When I met Dr. Jocelyn, she was just amazing. She connected with my son, and it meant so much to me. He opens up so quickly because she just sits there and plays with him. It really is like going to see a friend. It's really great to walk into somewhere where you feel welcomed and you feel accepted and respected. It just feels like home.
This is the NCW Life Community Calendar brought to you by LocalTel. JP Portrait Studio is offering holiday family mini sessions at the Wells House this Wednesday through Saturday. Get your family portraits taken in this beautifully restored historic home. Little Black Dress Party is this Friday from 7:30 to 11 p.m. at the Wenatchee Convention Center. Come dance, win prizes, shop, get your photo taken, and more. For more information and other community events, visit ncwlife.com.
And now it's time for your local news update with Steve Hare.
And once again on this Wednesday morning, I'm Dan Coons filling in for Steve. I've got a parking spot with my name on it, Hare. Here is your Wednesday morning news. About 60 people listened as experts for and against a housing development in the Wenatchee foothills made their cases to hearing examiner Andy Kottkamp yesterday. The hearing will continue today, as a matter of fact, at 3 o'clock at Wenatchee City Hall. City staff has recommended approval of the subdivision, which would allow 17 homes on 13 acres. Now, though the city seems satisfied, the developer, Steve Tramp, has addressed geological, runoff, wildlife, and other concerns. Lawyers for neighbors have strenuously objected. We will have more on this story with Grant Olson and the news tonight at 5, 6, and 10. 2019 is shaping up to be a tight budgetary year for Chelan County. The preliminary spending plan came in $1.2 million out of balance. Commissioners fear they may have to dig into reserves to make ends meet.
We're usually a little bit out of balance. It's unfortunate that what we're looking at right now, the amount we're out of balance is about the amount of sales tax that we used to receive from Old Station. And so without really seeing any reduction in services that are being asked for, we have lost that amount. And so we're restricted by state law to only be able to increase the dollar amount of property taxes by 1%. Businesses find it very difficult to be on that kind of a schedule, and government's no different than that kind of business. We're fortunate now. Before, when we had these kind of restraints and considerations in the budget, we didn't have a working capital or a general fund to work with. So we have a little bit of cushion there, and we've exceeded what we really need to necessarily have there. The concern we have, though, is the fact that if we do and use those kind of funds, we're using one-time money for continuing expenses. And so as salaries go up, as just the expense of doing business goes up, we need to be very careful that that downward trend doesn't become a long-term trend, or we'll be right back to where we were before.
The bottom line, according to commissioners, is the fact that revenues simply are not keeping up with the increasing cost of providing services. At this point, the county's general fund totals $51.7 million compared to the current year budget of $49 million. The final budget is scheduled to be adopted in December. Chelan County Commissioners will have a receptive ear in the legislature next year with the apparent election of Commissioner Keith Gaynor to the State House of Representatives. Gaynor has long criticized the state for handing down unfunded mandates that cause budget nightmares at the local level. He says he intends to pursue changes that would ease that burden.
I think we've all been very cognizant of the implications of legislation that doesn't provide for the funding to provide those additional services, and that there really has been a burden for local government to continue to provide services, the expectations without any additional money. I mean, it really makes it difficult for us to maintain, let alone take on more responsibility.
Commissioner Kevin Overbay cited as an example the costs of providing indigent legal defense as a mandated cost to the county.
The state of Washington picks up about 5%, and we rank in the lower 40s of all the states with regards to the amount that is paid for by the state. It's mandated. We have, as you heard us all at this table say before, the unfunded mandates that come about. And, in that particular case, in our budget's between $2.3 $2.4 million annually that we pay in indigent defense. And so, it would be nice to even have a relief of at least 50% of that. But, realistically, these are mandates that are passed by the legislature and put down on the counties. And unfortunately, just in the last short session, there was over $17 million in unfunded mandates that were given to the 39 counties. And, every year that those occur, that adds up, and yet we have no revenue opportunity to increase that, without going to the voters and trying to still provide those essential services while trying to provide those unfunded mandate pieces.
Gaynor was leading and is leading with her physician Dr. Ann Diamond in the latest vote count. By the way, the election will be certified on November 27th. Over 100 firefighters from Washington State have been sent to California to help battle that state's deadly wildfires. Over the weekend, Commissioner of Public Lands Hillary Franz mobilized 106 firefighters and 20 engines from the Washington State Department of Natural Resources. Those crews were headed to Chico, California to help battle the Camp Fire, which has burned more than 173 square miles and destroyed more than 6,700 structures as of Sunday night. In addition, the DNR said Saturday local fire districts are dispatching an additional 15 engines to Southern California, comprising about 93 firefighters. Local law enforcement officers will meet on the gridiron on Sunday afternoon to raise money for a good cause from 6:30 to 9:30 on Sunday at Lee-Bofto Field at the Apple Bowl. It'll be the Wenatchee Police Department against the Chelan County Sheriff's Office in a spirited but friendly game of flag football. Money raised from the event will go towards Jerry's Harvest, which is a local nonprofit that makes and delivers hot Thanksgiving meals to hospice and home health patients and their families, as well as those living with cancer. Students at Mission View Elementary School had something special to be thankful for this Thanksgiving holiday. They got a brand new playground.
Thank you to our playground. You're the very best. It's true.
Today, you bear witness to the celebration of a playground structure and a hillside that will likely be unparalleled here during your lifetime, and I hope mine too. Be proud. Take ownership, protect this place, and above all, have fun.
What a great scene. That was a scene captured, by the way, by our very own NCW Life camera technician, producer, editor, and all-around good person, Caitlin Hedersheet. Yesterday morning, students and the faculty braving the cold for the ribbon-cutting ceremony. One of those scissors never worked for whatever reason. They got the brand new playground. The ceremony included recognition of the various service organizations and businesses that helped donate time and materials towards the project. Of course, the old playground equipment was burned in an arson fire last spring. And by the way, those kids' hats that you saw were donated by the local hat project. Looks like everybody had a good time. What makes news on this Wednesday? You can find out in a little package we like to call the news. Grant Olson in the air chair at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. He'll be sitting right where I'm sitting, delivering the latest news at 5, 6, and 10. You can watch it on television at those times. You can watch it on demand on our website. We get it up and running at ncwlife.com just about 4:30 or 5. And you can watch it anytime you want. You can go back and look at archived newscasts if there's something that you may have missed, or maybe you want to see somebody on TV that you didn't see before. You can look at them on demand whenever you want to at ncwlife.com. You can also watch it on our Facebook page, again, right around 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And our website and our Facebook page are two of the many tools you can use to get a hold of us. At the bottom of your screen is all the different ways you do it. I prefer the email news at ncwlife.com because everybody on the staff gets it that way. Nothing falls through the cracks. News at ncwlife.com. But pick up the telephone, go to our website, send us a message, go to Facebook page, whatever it takes. We'd love to hear from you, our viewers. Remember, this is as much your station as it is ours. 17 minutes after the hour. Going to take a quick break. When we come back, sports, the obscure holiday. Today in history, birthdays. Everybody is entitled to Mike Mignotti's opinion. And the cast and the director of that musical I just forgot the name of. How to succeed in business without really trying. Can I go home, Cat? All of that coming up between now and 8 o'clock. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, I hope, on the NCW Life channel. La, 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 la.
This is the NCW Life Community Calendar brought to you by LocalTel. Pybus Public Market is hosting their annual Holiday Artisan Fair in the main concourse and the LocalTel Event Center this Saturday from 9 to 4. There will be over 40 artisans with handmade crafts and gifts, a photo booth, giveaways, and more. Kashmir Community Concerts presents Whiskey Deaf on Saturday from 7 to 9 p.m. It's happening at the Kashmir Riverside Center. For more information and other community events, visit ncwlife.com.
I'm Tom from Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. At Alpine Air, we think of ourselves as customer service-oriented retailers. When you make an appointment, please visit our store, meet our people, see our shop. We are serious about heating and air conditioning. Carrier and Alpine Air are offering huge factory rebates and financing options for all your needs. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air. Call for your free replacement estimate. Heat and air, call Alpine Air, 662-6846.
You're still there, huh? It's Stu Sports on this Wednesday. Yesterday, we profiled the Big Nine all-conference selections. Let's do the Caribou Trail League football selections. They came out. Look at those names. These guys are all really good football players. First-team offense includes Cascades' Eric Rosario and Hunter Reinhardt on the O-line, and the Kodiak's Jose Valdez at running back. Isaiah Dayton, first-teamer for Cascade at wide receiver. Kashmir's Mason Landeck and Brooks Elliott, also first-teamers at wideout. First-team selections on the defensive side of the ball include Cascade's Jose Valdez on the line and Eric Rosario at linebacker. Kashmir's Dylan Gross, a first-teamer at linebacker. Sam Dotson and Ryan Cooper selected as defensive backs. The Bulldogs' Javi Reina picked as a first-team special team selection as a returner, and Chelan's Skylar Gordon, first-team selection at defensive end. We continue looking at the postseason awards for fall sports locally. Big Nine girls soccer, congratulations to Alyssa Konarek. She's the Big Nine Defensive Player of the Year, and of course, Eastmont coach Aaron Riedel, the Big Nine Coach of the Year, and she deserved it. First team forward goes to Wenatchee's Jaden Griggs. First team midfield, Eastmont's Cheyenne Chang, and Wenatchee's Kate Springer. First team defense, Eastmont's Alyssa Konarek, and Wenatchee's Emily Coldy. And first team goalkeeper, Eastmont's Cora Fry, who had a great year this year. Kashmir's Chloe Diaz is the Player of the Year in the Caribou Trail League. Her teammates also making first team All-CTL. Amy Martin, Claire Norman, Carly Diaz, Grace Hammond. Cascade first teamers, Savannah Stefanko, Tori Driscoll, True Merriman, Stella Johnson, and Devon Archer. Chelan's Martiz Blanco, first team selection at defender, and her coach, Mariana Williams, is the Caribou Trail League Coach of the Year. Congratulations to all. All schools will be celebrating the upcoming annual tailgate luncheon. It happens Friday at the Wenatchee Convention Center. Wenatchee Central Lions Club member Jerry Anderson was a guest on this very program yesterday, and he announced that the keynote speaker, B.J. Kuntz, the Dean of Students at Wenatchee High School.
We started putting the program together for this year. We discussed what we wanted, what direction we wanted to go. Last year, we had Coach Devereaux from Wenatchee came in and gave a fantastic talk about having 3 students playing D1 sports from his crew up there with Cody O'Connell, Trey Adams, and Isaiah Bryant Sims down at Stanford. And that was fantastic. He had some great videos, and we had a lot of fun. And I thought we would take a little different tack this year because I think it's important to understand the importance of sports and extracurricular activities in the school curriculum.
The luncheon is also hosted by the Wenatchee's Downtown Rotary Club. It'll be Friday at the Wenatchee Convention Center. It starts at 11:30 and pretty cheap to show up.
Tickets are $20 a piece, $25 at the door, and get you a course of lunch and hot dogs and pulled pork and chicken and all kinds of tailgate fare, as it were.
Sure.
And a no-host bar.
The all-school tailgate luncheon Friday at the Wenatchee Convention Center, and again, it gets underway at 11:30. Well, the Mariner organization, they're having to defend itself against allegations of racism and discrimination after a former employee took to social media to air her concerns. Seattle's former director of high performance in the baseball operations department, Lorena Martin, tweeted Monday saying General Manager Jerry DePito, Manager Scott Service, and Director of Player Development Andy McKay had called Latino players, quote, lazy, dumb, and stupid, especially the Dominicans, end quote. Well, the Mariners responded yesterday saying, quote, while it is our policy not to comment on personnel issues, we do feel it is important to respond to the outrageous false claims made by her today on social media. The Mariners categorically deny that any member of our management or coaching staff made the racist remarks, end quote. And not surprisingly, Major League Baseball is investigating. And those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Wednesday morning at 23 minutes after the hour. Let's do the obscure holiday of the day today. Today is Pickle Day. I love pickles. I just love pickles. Pickles are great. First of all, they have a long shelf life. They kill harmful bacteria. That's how the whole thing started. Hey, how do we make things last as long as we possibly can? And oftentimes I'm usually in a pickle anyway, if you know what I mean. Nobody really knows how long ago pickling lasts. All the way back to the ancient times. Ancient Egyptians were thought to be the first one to really figure out the pickling process, if you will. Of course, pickles are now consumed and made all over the world. In fact, way back in the old days, when you would go off long voyages, Christopher Columbus and many others, they would take along as many pickles as they possibly could because it was a good way to ward off scurvy because it lasted so long. So pickling, pickle your own pickles or consume pickles. Pickles are good for you. I love a good pickle. I'm usually in a big pickle around here, I can tell you that much. 24 minutes after the hour today in history. If you're into loan sharking and racketeering and money laundering and narcotics trafficking and gambling, you're an organized crime. And small little hamlet way up there in upstate New York, the Appalachian Meeting is what it was called, in Appalachia, way up in upstate New York. It's a tiny little town, less than 1,000 people. They didn't even have their own police force. And people around this little hamlet started noticing back on November 14th, 1957, there's a lot of really nice cars in town. I mean, really nice cars, Cadillacs and Continentals, and they got out-of-state license plates. What are they all doing in our sleepy little hamlet? Well, it turns out it was a big meeting of the mob. About 70 of them showed up to talk shop. They thought they'd get away with it because it was just this tiny little town out in the middle of nowhere, but people started figuring out what was going on, and eventually, it was raided by law enforcement. A lot of the mobsters got away. They ran into the woods, but many others were arrested trying to flee. The famous Appalachian Meeting between all the major members of organized crime got busted on this date 61 years ago today. Apparently, you don't have to be real smart to be in crime. That's one of the great tragedies that's ever happened. Probably the worst tragedy in American sporting history happened 48 years ago today. There will be remembrances, by the way. Southern Airways Flight 932 crashes in the mountains near Huntington, West Virginia, killing 75, including the entire Marshall University football team, with 4 exceptions. The 4 players who did not die in the crash were not on the airplane. It is the deadliest tragedy affecting sports, any sports team in U.S. history. The movie We Are Marshall told their story. It came out a few years ago. And finally, at 26 minutes after the hour, we got some birthdays for you. Sherwood Schwartz, the guy who created both Gilligan's Island and the Brady Bunch. So you can blame him. Sherwood Schwartz was born in this state in 1916, died a very rich man at the age of 94 in 2011. The man created Gilligan's Island, and then he created the Brady Bunch. And he owned the shows all the way to the very end. Sherwood Schwartz was born in the state in 1916. We all remember as Lieutenant Colonel Henry Blake in MASH. McLean Stevenson was born in the state in 1927, passed away in 1996 at the age of 68. He wanted to be a big star in television. He got tired of playing second banana on MASH. He asked out of his contract. They granted him his contract, and he went on to make such television class success. The McLean Stevenson Show, In the Beginning, Hello Larry, and Condo. None of those shows were nearly as impactful or entertaining as MASH. Ironically enough, the day after McLean Stevenson passed away, Roger Bowen, who played Lieutenant Colonel Henry Blake in the movie MASH, passed away. McLean Stevenson was born in the state in 1927. And there's poor Charles, Prince of Wales. He's 70 years old today. Hi, Charles. Hi, Chuck. The longest-serving heir apparent in British history. He has been waiting for 66 years. He's 70 years old today. Charles, Prince of Wales, is 70 years old today, but Mom keeps hanging around, so he just keeps being a prince. One of these days, he'll be king. 66 years is a long time to wait. Life is good for him. 27 minutes after the hour, when we come back, everybody's entitled to Mike McNarty's opinion. Then my interview with the director, Paul Atwood, and 3 of the cast members of How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. Opening night is tomorrow night. That's all coming up between now and 8 o'clock. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Hey everyone, did you know that the NCW Life channel is North Central Washington's go-to source for news? Catch the evening news weeknights on TV, online, or Facebook. If local sports is your thing, tune in to High School Sports and the Wenatchee Wild each week. Looking for local stories, people, and events? NCW Life has you covered with Wake Up Wenatchee Valley live on weekday mornings, or enjoy a variety of local programming throughout the day. See NCW Life on Local Tel Channel 12 or Charter 19. Stream it live or watch it on demand at ncwlife.com. NCW Life, a reflection and a spotlight on the community we call home.
Bob's Burgers and Brew in Wenatchee. Only the best.
Hey folks, Carrie from Blueberry Hills. A chill is in the air and it's a perfect time for some old-fashioned comfort food like our amazing Eggs Benedict, chicken fried steak, French dips, soups made from scratch, or fruit pies fresh from the oven. The crowds might be gone, but we're still here for you folks. So bring an appetite and a friend to Blueberry Hills in Manson, where you pick, you sit, you eat, and you visit. Open Wednesday through Sunday from 8 to 3. wildaboutberries.com.
Thanks to the help I received at Goodwill, I have a job. I'm working now. Thanks to Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill. Thank you, Goodwill.
Goodwill's Employment Connection Center is a free walk-in job search assistance program designed to get you back to work. When you donate to or shop at Goodwill, you're really helping people find work.
Thank you.
Goodwill, there's more behind the store.
This is the NCW Life Community Calendar brought to you by Local Tel. Pybus Public Market is hosting their annual Holiday Artisan Fair in the main concourse and the Local Tel Event Center this Saturday from 9 to 4. There will be over 40 artisans with handmade crafts and gifts, a photo booth, giveaways, and more. Kashmir Community Concerts presents Whiskey Deaf on Saturday from 7 to 9 p.m. It's happening at the Kashmir Riverside Center. For more information and other community events, visit ncwlife.com.
NCW Life Channel is proud to present the Spotlight on Business. We're going behind the scenes to bring you the story of local businesses throughout North Central Washington. How did they get started? And why are they so successful? We'll answer these and other questions each week with Spotlight on Business, Sundays through Fridays on the NCW Life channel.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnati, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, I was recently chastised for making a joke about President Trump, and it got me thinking about political comedy. You remember Jon Stewart, you know, the guy who used to host The Daily Show, a satirical news program on Comedy Central. He's a funny guy. You know, I disagreed with his spin on lots of things, but nevertheless, the guy's funny. I must say, though, that I regarded him more as a comedian and don't think he rose to the position of being a political pundit the way some of my liberal friends seem to think he did. But whatever the question is it disrespectful to poke fun at a public or political figure? Like, let's say the President of the U.S. If so, is it always disrespectful? Or is it only disrespectful when the man being made fun of happens to be the current POTUS, somebody that you're in favor of? This is Mike Mad Dog Magnati, and that's my opinion.
That's pretty much it. It's a great house, great neighborhood.
It's great. Sam's still getting used to the idea of moving.
Sam, you play basketball?
Yeah.
Let me show you something. Now I'm thinking, you put your hoop right here, and you even got enough room for a three-point line. One of the things I've noticed is that if you got a hoop in your driveway, you make friends real fast.
At Coldwell Banker Levine, our agents don't just understand real estate, they understand what home is all about.
You don't want to see this happen. It's the oil light on your car. Oil is the lube of life for your car's engine. At Alignment Pros and Express Lube, they pour the best oil your car deserves. Expect fast, friendly, superior service in a clean environment. They'll change your oil and perform a 21-point inspection while you enjoy the comfort of their amazing waiting room. Keep your car in top shape at Alignment Pros and Express Lube in East Wenatchee.
What's your auto mocha emergency?
It's a Frappuccino mocha with whip.
The espresso shakes are my most favorite because I can get any flavor. Peanut butter chocolate for pita.
Definitely espresso shakes. My favorite is the mocha for pitas.
A peach Red Bull.
Hey everyone, Fletcher and Amy Ellington here from Live It Up. In the investment world, ROI stands for Return on Investment. Well, how does better health, better wealth, and better relationships sound for ROI? Join us every week right here on NCW Life and learn how to invest in the most important asset, you.
We're going to answer your questions and provide some weekly inspiration so you can create a life that you love. Join us on Live It Up.
Welcome back to Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley. Anytime I have a chance to talk with a local theater legend, I always
Don't say
make
legend.
sure that happens. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here today, so instead we have Paul Atwood, you know, and his son to talk about the new this year's musical that the Wenatchee High School Choral Department is putting on. How to succeed in business without really trying. Paul Atwood and his talented son. Well, introduce yourself to everybody. You've been on the show before.
I'm Mason Atwood.
Mason Atwood, who I am assuming plays the lead. I don't know.
Yes, he does play the lead.
So, gee, how did that casting happen?
No nepotism whatsoever.
The 15th is when it starts, and 15th through the 17th of November, then again the 29th through December 1st. Opening night is Thursday night. You ready?
We're getting there. We're fine tuning it. We're getting there. Gosh, last night was great with the orchestra.
Okay.
It's all student orchestra, conducted by Mr. Jim Kovac.
I love him.
So yeah,
Love
he's
Jim.
amazing man, and he has talented musicians, and so yeah, we're getting there.
Ready to go.
Painting still last minute,
That's all
touches
that
up and stuff.
Why How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying? How did that ended up on your radar, and why are you doing this particular show?
Well, we had never done this show. And it's always been, well, I was able to do it, 15 years ago or so, up in Chelan. And I know they recently did, but probably about 3 or 4 years ago, they did it at Leavenworth Summer Theater. And Wenatchee's never put it on.
Okay.
And it's a great show. I mean, it's smart, witty. It even won a Pulitzer Prize when it was first produced on Broadway. And it's been produced like three different times.
It's been revived.
Yes,
Okay.
it's been revived. The last one was with Daniel Radcliffe, and
Was it Matthew Broderick?
Yeah, Matthew Broderick was in that before that.
Yeah.
And then of course the original with Robert Morris, so who won also the Tony for his performance, and then was in the movie, which is, and that was what, around 1963.
64, 62, 63,
like
something like that.
Yeah.
And that's how I'm familiar with it, is watching the movie.
Yeah.
And the first thing I thought of when I saw that you're going to do How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying, it's a period piece. It takes place in the early 1960s. But the original, and I'm only familiar with the movie, Paul, but there's drinking and smoking and there's sexism galore. I mean, there's misogyny. How does a high school group put this on?
We don't have much drinking or smoking.
Okay,
but it does have the adult content where it was the 60s and the secretaries and stuff, and now with the Me Too movement and stuff like that, it's kind of an educational piece for these students to see exactly what it was like back then. The Mad Men era, or what it was kind of like that back then, and how women were kind of treated that way.
Turns out, spoiler alert, guys are jerks. There you go.
Who knew?
Mason, your character is, and explain them, please.
I am J. Pierpont Finch, and I'm the man who finds a book on how to succeed in business and decide to give it a try.
You're a little bit of a con artist, isn't he, in a certain respect?
Yeah.
He starts out as a window washer.
Start as a window washer and manipulate everyone else and smoosh up to the big boss.
Yep.
And reach my way up.
A little white lie.
Yeah.
And some of the, even, he claims that he went to the same school as the boss and tries to sing along the alma mater with him, and it's just really cute. And like I said, it's just smart. It's a smart show, and it's a show that high schoolers can do. I mean, on the off years, I do the district musical, and those are the ones you're incorporating in 2nd grade up to 12th grade, and you want to do something more like a Disney type of
So this wouldn't
show.
work for the all district musical.
No.
Well, there's no rule for kids anyway.
Oh no.
So, no.
And but I think it's just great for high schoolers to do. I know that there's actually 3 or 4 productions that are going on in high school settings right now. So it's becoming a popular musical again.
Now you're just a teenager, but the character you play is what, 25, mid late 20s, something like that?
Yeah, 20 something.
So is that a challenge there, or?
To be more mature, yeah.
Yeah. I could go for your dad too. Get into that. So that's not easy for somebody. You're playing somebody 10 years older than you actually are, because you don't have that life experience.
Yeah, it's a little weird, having the weird relationship discussions on stage, which we don't really have when we're teenagers, but yeah, it's fun to experiment with that.
Quick little plot synopsis, Paul, for people who are completely unfamiliar with the play. We kind of teased it a little bit, but give us
It's a musical comedy parody of the 1960s and the business world, and how this young man excels on the business ladder to achieve what he hopefully wants to achieve. And
the title tells the story, pretty much.
The title tells the story.
And yet there's redemption in the end.
There really is.
I mean, your character isn't necessarily a pleasant person at times throughout the course of the guy's a con man, essentially.
Yes.
And he's faking his way to the top of the corporate ladder.
Yeah, very much like that. there are musical shows that, like Music Man, for instance. He's a con artist.
Right,
Goes
sure.
into that and makes everybody join a band and play trumpets, and he doesn't know anything at all.
Right.
But he talks his way, and that's very much similar to Jay Pierpont. He just kind of talks his way through and the fun songs that they all sing about the business world, and I mean, some of these songs really kind of are, like one of them is called "A Secretary Is Not a Toy."
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, all these men, you know, the big boss, one of the bosses come in and say, "Now, gentlemen, this is not how we treat women," and he starts talking about it, and then the girls have a wonderful number at the beginning of Act 2 on how to land a man, how to get that rock, how to
you get to choose some serious scenery in this, don't you?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
you're on a lot.
Yeah.
But you get great lines, and you get to be a little over the top, a little bit more than you normally are used to, I suppose.
Yeah.
in These things.
I do a lot of weird characters to get people to like me.
Oh yeah, one of the scenes where he's in the restroom with all the men and he's staring in the mirror and you know, just I'm so wonderful and look at me, and that's that song that he sings. What is it?
I believe in you.
I believe in you, and he's tucking himself up in the mirror. It's just hilarious.
This whole thing is a period piece. So give me some of the challenges, like, say, wardrobes and props and sets.
Yes.
We'll start with wardrobe.
Oh my gosh, we have some great costumers. Christy Clare is the head of it right now, and we did have some of these costumes in our, you know, back in the, you know, that we've saved over the years. But they've also built a lot of costumes, and one of the fun numbers is the gal that's your love interest, Rosemary. She goes and gets this dress, and she thinks it's one of a kind, and then all of a sudden another secretary comes in with the same dress, and so by the end all the secretaries have the same dress, and they're all just, I can't believe we have the same dress, you know.
Talk about some of the other people. By the way, we have 2 more cast members we're going to talk with here in a couple of minutes. Behind the scenes people, the people who make this thing happen, but you don't see them on stage. You want to give them some kudos while you have them? I know there's a bunch.
Our music director, Don McCormick.
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
The music director, Don McCormick. And what's so great is that the proceeds for the musical go towards the choral department, and they're trying to get enough money to all go to Ireland this spring. So that's a great
a good thing. Yep.
Incentive, and you know exactly where that money, your ticket proceeds are going to, is to give these young adults a great experience over in Ireland, and they get to perform over there and stuff. So that's the main goal, is try to get as many ticket sales so we can fund all the kids to
Everybody,
to do that.
yeah, that's a great cause.
Yes.
I'm 100% in favor of that.
Yes.
How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying, November 15th, 16th, and 17th at the Wenatchee High School Auditorium, and then again on the 29th, 30th, and December 1st. Paul is I guess you're the director, I don't know.
Yes.
What's Kelly
And of course,
in all this?
your
better half.
My better
She's
half.
the much better half.
She's the brains behind everything.
Right.
Master.
But she doesn't like to be known. She just
I know.
always in the
I
background.
know.
But
I know.
yeah, she's. Oh my gosh, people are gonna just love this. I mean, it'll actually take you back to those '60s. You know, those colors, those greens and oranges, and you know, we have this huge set with elevators and doors and spiral staircases that come down, and it's these little fun business offices that are just
I'm looking
amazing.
forward to it. It's going to be a great show. We're going to take a break. Who's going to come in and visit with me next? Who do we got?
We have Sarah Bursch, who plays Hetty LaRue, and Carson Zender, who plays Smitty.
Okay, and they're going to be joining me next. And of course, my first question is, what's Paul like as a director? They can study that.
I'm wonderful.
More with the cast of How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying when we come back and watch you Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Thank you very much.
I came here to CVCH because one of my friends referred me. When I met Dr. Jocelyn, she was just amazing. She connected with my son, and it meant so much to me. He opens up so quickly because she just sits there and plays with him. It really is like going to see a friend. It's really great to walk into somewhere where you feel welcomed and you feel accepted and respected. It just feels like home.
Dear Merry Maids, please clean the kitchen, and the cabinets, and floors, and the chairs. And I wish you could clean the dog. Colin is now feeding himself. Thanks, Megan.
Hi, Megan. No worries. We got it all cleaned up. Let's hope Colin gets past the spaghetti flinging stage soon. Till then, we've got you covered. See you next time, Merry Maids.
Collins Fashions has your lifestyle in mind. Casual to special occasions, head-to-toe styling, foundations to shoes, jewelry, scarves, handbags, awesome gifts too. Denim brands from Liverpool, Not Your Daughter's Jeans, French dressing, all fits and sizes. Slacks from Joseph Ribkoff, Renoir, Tribal, and Elliott Lauren. Easy care and flattering. Stylish sweaters from Icelandic, Curio, and Tribal. Great selection of cashmere sweaters and scarves too. We always have you in mind at Collins Fashions in downtown Wenatchee.
And we're back on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, once again promoting and talking about the Wenatchee High School Choral Department's presentation of how to succeed in business without really trying. And we have two cast members who have now joined us in Studio 3 in downtown Wenatchee. Introduce yourselves. You go first.
I'm Carson Zender.
I'm Sarah Bursch.
So Sarah, Carson, what's Paul like as a director?
He's awesome.
Is he?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's really fun to work with.
Pretty low key, you know, pretty low energy, you know. So.
Yeah, very.
Yeah. You think he's even discovered, you know, like caffeine-free coffee? Do you think he even knows that even exists?
I don't think
You
so.
don't think
No.
so? What classes are you missing right now?
Math.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're
yeah,
welcome.
I'm really happy
Yeah,
about that.
Well, I actually have senior release at the beginning of the day, so
Oh, okay.
I'm good.
I didn't have that when I was in high school.
Yeah.
So, your character, what's your character?
I'm Smitty,
Mhm.
and she's just kind of a spunky secretary. She's kind of a little disheveled, very hardworking, and she's the sidekick of the lead, Rosemary, and she tries to get J. Pierpont Finch and Rosemary together.
Does she
That's her
succeed?
goal.
Well, no, we know
That's
that.
her goal.
I don't want to say
That's
that's,
her
a
goal,
spoiler
yeah.
alert.
No
I don't wanna say
spoilers.
that. What do you do in this?
So I play Hetty LaRue, and she is the mistress of J.B. Bigley, who is the owner of Worldwide Wickets.
Yeah, he's the boss.
He is the boss.
Okay.
So I get to be a little bit more sexy, and it's a very fun character. She's not the brightest, but she has a lot of funny lines, and she's so fun to play.
When you auditioned and read for these parts, were you reading for a specific part, or after it was all said and done, Paul said, I want you to play this character and you to play this character? Did you do any research at all, or did you?
I think we all kind of do research beforehand just to get like an idea of what characters we would like to play or which ones we think we would be best at. But I think overall, the directors know what they're doing, so when they put us as the characters, it's the best fit for us.
You hear that, Paul? You know what you're doing. We've made news here. Same deal for you. I mean, you saw this character, you said, I really want to play this character in the show.
Well, at first I actually didn't want to play that character. I was kind of like watching the movie and I'm like, I don't know if I'm right for this character. But then I like started reading the script some more and I was like, oh my gosh, she is so funny. So I kind of just fell in love with her, and when I did the audition, I was like, yeah, this is right. I definitely want to go for this character, and I got it.
Are you
So-
ready for opening night? Because opening night is just, it's so nervous and it's so intense and so nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Yeah, I'm ready to perform for people other than just like the people working behind the scenes. But
Same question for you. Are you ready?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like I'm ready. I feel like I always do better in front of an audience.
as well.
It gives me a lot of adrenaline. So.
And once it's kind of like a sporting event. Once you're 10 minutes into the show, you're settled in, and, and you don't really think about what you're doing what
exactly.
you're supposed to be doing. Which is better, opening night or closing night?
Closing.
Closing night. It's so fun.
Yeah.
Because things are a little looser, and everybody by this point knows their lines and everything like that.
It's always the most emotional but best show. Yeah.
Do you? Already asked you this. Do you like your character?
I love her. She's
Okay.
really fun to play.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have either one of you done theater for a while, or any of the shows?
Yeah.
I mean, you got it going. You've been a part of it.
Yeah, my first show was King and I when I was in
Okay.
second grade, and then I've done most of them throughout my school years.
What do you take away from doing that? I mean, why do you do it?
I don't know. I love music, and I just think acting's very fun. I think it's I have a passion for music and everything. So I don't know. It's just a really fun thing for me to do.
Is it something you want to do after your high school years?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Okay. Same question. I mean, have you been doing this from the get-go since you were just a kid, and you just keep doing it?
Well, actually, I started doing theater with the Atwoods and really getting into it my freshman year. I was originally like a dancer when I was 3, and I danced with Fabulous Feet, and I did Nutcracker, and I've always wanted to do the musicals. So I did it my freshman year, and I just fell in love with it. I love the whole process. I love the people that you get to meet through theater, and so after I did my first all-district musical, I started doing community theater, and I just love it, and still doing it.
Same question. Is it something you're going to do after high school?
Definitely.
You stay. Once it's in your blood, it's in your blood.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do after high school? I'll let you go first. What are your future plans?
Well, I am looking at double majoring in theater and education.
Okay. Yourself?
I would like to go into musical theater or some sort of music, and I would also like to minor in communications.
You ever been to Broadway? You got to go.
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've watched Broadway, obviously, but haven't been on.
You've
Broadway.
got to go to the Great White Way. There's nothing like Times Square and Broadway and that whole deal.
One day.
One day. I mean, just to go to a show.
Yeah, it's life changing.
Yeah. So, and that's we need to mention this. We talked about the behind the scenes people. The Wenatchee High School Auditorium is a pretty darn nice facility for a high school auditorium,
nice.
isn't
Yeah.
it? They give you the tools, don't they?
They do.
and that makes it good.
Yeah, it's very large.
Yeah.
Space for everyone to be in.
You got your lines down? You know your lines? You got them memorized? Okay.
For the most part.
Do you have to? Is there a lot of singing going on for you gals? I mean, specifically.
Yeah,
do
we
you
have
a solo?
quite a few songs. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We have my favorite song, "Coffee Break." It's us tweaking out because we don't have any coffee in the coffee pot yet.
Okay. And you get a song of your own, or just a?
Well, I get a duet with the boss of the company, J.P. Bigley. And I get to sing a little bit in Been a Long Day reprise, so it's probably Heart of Gold is my favorite song that I get to sing.
Do you like? I mean, the music is dated. The music is from the early '60s, but do you like it anyway? I mean,
I love it.
Yeah. You know, one thing something else we haven't talked about: choreography. There's a lot of movement going on here, isn't there? That's probably the hardest thing of all to master down, right?
Yeah, we have a really great teacher, Trisha Miller. She worked for Fabulous Feet. Her mom owns it. She's amazing. She's very easy to work with. Works great with high schoolers. So she's the magic behind the choreography.
She makes it all come together.
It's going to be a great show. I can't wait for it. How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. Again, it opens November 15th. It runs the 15th. There you go. 15th, 16th, and 17th. And again, the 29th, 30th, and 31st. With a matinee on Saturday. That's good because, 7:30 is past my bedtime. Tickets are at numericapac.org, or you can go to the Numerica Performing Arts Center box office. They're open regular business hours to pick up your tickets. Any last message for our viewers before we let you go back to math class?
Buy tickets.
There you go. Same thing for you?
Come see the show. It's amazing.
It is. It's a good show. It's a good show. You're going to like it. Thanks for dropping by and seeing me. I appreciate it. Paul, have a good day, too. Paul's over there in the corner. He just nodded off. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel. We'll be right back.
This is the NCW Life Community Calendar brought to you by LocalTel. JP Portrait Studio is offering holiday family mini sessions at the Wells House this Wednesday through Saturday. Get your family portraits taken in this beautifully restored historic home. Little Black Dress Party is this Friday from 7:30 to 11 p.m. at the Wenatchee Convention Center. Come dance, win prizes, shop, get your photo taken, and more. For more information and other community events, visit ncwlife.com.
For plumbing, heating, or cooling repair, Patriot will be right there.
Is your home as comfortable as you like? This Lennox dealer can help.
Make your home comfortable with a Lennox system from Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Call Patriot today.
Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling will give your home a hug.
Get up to $1,600 in rebates or special financing.
Hey everyone! Did you know that the NCW Life channel is North Central Washington's go-to source for news? Catch the evening news weeknights on TV, online, or Facebook. If local sports is your thing, tune in to High School Sports and the Wenatchee Wild each week. Looking for local stories, people, and events? NCW Life has you covered with Wake Up Wenatchee Valley live on weekday mornings, or enjoy a variety of local programming throughout the day. See NCW Life on LocalTel Channel 12 or Charter 19. Stream it live or watch it on demand at ncwlife.com. NCW Life, a reflection and a spotlight on the community we call home.
And welcome back to this Wednesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz, your host, before we call it a Wednesday and send you on down the road to whatever it is that you need to be taken care of. On this Wednesday, let's take a look at your weather forecast. One more time for the National Weather Service. Not quite out of the woods yet for a little bit of sleet, maybe some freezing rain, or maybe even some rain. We still have about another hour and a half window of that possibility. Right now, the only thing that we can see is some freezing fog, and there is some freezing fog in locations, and that can make the roadway kind of slick. Let's go ahead and take a look at what's you're expected for the rest of this Wednesday morning. There you go. As you can see, it's just going to maybe slide by the Wenatchee Valley. The farther north you go, you have a better chance of some freezing rain or some sleet. And we understand that freezing fog is really causing some visibility issues in the Moses Lake Ritzville area, and especially on Highway 2 as well. If you're heading towards Spokane, you got some visibility issues. Also on the Menashtash Ridge on your way down to Ellensburg into Yakima, very poor visibility there. So that's what we're looking at this morning. We jump ahead 24 hours to tomorrow morning. Things are looking considerably better. Under partly sunny skies, will top off at about 51 degrees. So that's actually the quietest day of the week, because things get interesting again on Friday. Let's jump ahead, and there you go. As you can see, we can see a little bit of rain coming our way Friday morning, overnight Thursday night into Friday. It's going to be cloudy. The fog will burn off. Notice these afternoon highs, and we're going to show them to you again, are finally going to warm back up again after this long cool period. And let's look ahead to the weekend, because, let's go ahead and, well, there's your forecast. We'll just do that. There you go. Again, could still see a little bit of sleet, a little bit of freezing fog, and a little bit of light rain today until about 9:30. Then we're done with that. We'll have patchy fog, lots of clouds today, but 45 is a lot warmer than what we've had. Our afternoon highs for the last 3 days, going back to Sunday, 31, 32, and 34, well below normal. Our normal high is the forecast high for today, 45 degrees. And then we got partly cloudy, slight chance of rain on Thursday, a little bit warmer, and then 49, 44, 42, right, hovering right around the normal range with some patchy morning fog and some afternoon sunshine really going through the rest of the week and into the weekend. It's typical mid-November weather. As far as the mountain passes are concerned, the story up there is rain. It's raining right now on I-90. The roadway is bare and wet. No advisories, no restrictions. Again, you will have some visibility issues at times on Snoqualmie Pass with some light rain coming down. Stevens looks okay. No advisories, no restrictions. The roadway is pretty much bare and dry with some light rain coming down, so it's going to get a little slippery on Stevens Pass, but it really looks fine, no problems at all. Blewett Pass has no issues. It's not raining on Blewett. The roadway is bare and dry with some frost and ice in places, and as I already mentioned, out in the Columbia Basin with some freezing fog, and on the Menashtash Ridge between Ellensburg and Yakima on I-82, they usually have poor visibility this time of year, and that is the case. By the way, the forecast for the mountain passes today, light rain, switching over to a light rain snow mix. Not a lot coming down. It will be mostly in the form of rain today. A little bit of a rain snow mix tonight, probably only on Stevens Pass. It should bypass Blewett and Snoqualmie. And for the weekend, if you have weekend travel plans, the mountain passes, the forecast looks just fine. Thank you very much. That's it for us. Have yourself a great Wednesday. We'll see you first thing tomorrow morning. Until then, take care and bye-bye.